Hi everyone, this is Jose Bucio of conquer-diabetes.com. Recently on my Conquer Diabetes Facebook page, I posted how I started to eat way too many carbohydrates and subsequently my blood sugars got too high and they started to get out of control actually. So once I realized that, I immediately knew what I had to do, and that is to go on a low carbohydrate diet. And that is drastically cutting down the amount of carbohydrates that I consume throughout the day. That has the positive effect of really lowering your blood sugar, and it happens within like a few days. You can cut them down basically almost in half, and that's the purpose of this video, because I have a log where I track that activity for about 12 or 13 days, and I track what I ate plus what effect it had on my blood sugars, and that's exactly what I want to show you here in a second. All right, so without further ado, let's go over that log. So this log begins on Monday, June 1st, and where I list the date, I also list the amount of carbohydrates I had for that day, and I put that number there at the end of the day once I know that I'm done eating. On Monday, June 1st, I had a total of 25 grams carbs total. However, the thing to note here is that that morning I woke up at a 338. Now that's a high blood sugar because for about 3 to 4 weeks leading up to this day, I was just plain sloppy. I mean, I was just eating whatever I felt like eating and didn't care. But obviously, once you check your blood sugar and then you see how what the consequences are of your choices, then you have to stop and think about what you have to do. In any event, eating low carb is the way to go if you want to reduce your blood sugars and not depend on medications, which I have not taken for at least, I don't even know, but it's something like 3 to 4 years. In any event, wherever I had a meal with carbohydrates in it, I listed it. For example, here, 5 grams for a carnitas bowl, which is pork meat. I had a green smoothie that had about 10 grams. By the end of the evening, 294 was my blood sugar. So let's go into the next day on Tuesday. I started off at a 258 for blood sugar, which is definitely lower than the previous morning. And for that day, I had 38 grams of total of carbohydrates. And then you can see here what I had, where I consumed carbohydrates. There goes another entry. So since I have a few days here to go over, I'm going to hurry up and go through each day and not talk about every single detail. On Wednesday, I had a blood sugar of 263, which is just slightly higher than the previous morning. But I'm not worried about that because look at what happened at 2 p.m. It went down to 186. But all I had throughout the day there was coffee with heavy cream that has fat in it. My butter coffee that I like to prepare, that also just has fat, no carbohydrates. And then here, string cheese with ham. And then the only thing carbohydrates for that day up to that time is this nut seed and cranberry mix, 14 grams. And then you can see here what I had for the rest of the day. Now, on Thursday, I woke up with a 241, which is definitely lower up until that point, the lowest up to that point. So that day, I only had 25 grams total of carbohydrates. Now, you want to use the labels on the foods you eat, and where you don't, you want to measure. I used to do that for a while where I was being very specific in my measurements. But now I know from how much I'm using about the amount of carbohydrates that the foods have. And sometimes I'm just guesstimating. In any event, by 6 o'clock that evening, I had a 168 blood sugar because everything that I've been doing for the last few days leading up to Thursday at 6 p.m. is having a positive effect. And what is it specifically that's having that effect? Well, that's the low carbohydrates that I'm consuming. I'm literally counting the amount of carbohydrates that I'm having throughout the day. And look at here, 25, 27, 38. That sort of activity and consumption will lead to lower blood sugars because carbohydrates, no matter where they're coming from, are the ones that, for the most part, are raising your blood sugar. That is one thing that you have to learn and understand. Now, let's keep going further. On Friday, June 5th, I woke up to a 206. Again, it's even lower than the previous days. And that day, I had 25 grams total of carbohydrates. On Saturday, I woke up real early that day. As you can see, it was 2:40 in the morning. and I woke up to 169. Now, there is some activity that happens later in the morning or around this time, possibly. That's called dawn phenomenon, and that's where your liver is actually producing glucose. And sometimes, basically, that's why we, as type 2 diabetics, wake up with high blood sugars. In any event, I don't know if it was going to go further up after this reading. My guess is that yes, it would have. But in any event, it's lower than all the other days. But at 10 a.m., I went down to a 143, so that's a good thing. And you can see here that I consumed 25 grams total. Now, on Sunday, June 7th, I did kind of have a little hiccup, I'm going to call it. 127 grams total of carbs, although that says cars. Let's change that. And let's see. Well, you can see here where I went wrong, okay? And I started a fast right there, and let's see what happened the next day. Well, Monday, I woke up to a 228, which is obviously higher, but it's no surprise, as I wrote there, because I did eat more than I should have. In any event, that day, Monday, 32 grams carbs total. And here, these are pretty good. I want to point these out. Only 10 grams carbs for these mashed cauli bacon cheese bites made out of cauliflower. So that was my dinner that day, if I remember correctly. Yes. Tuesday, 22 grams, and then I woke up at 185. Not bad. 143 here. Wednesday again, 159. It's going down lower still. At 1 p.m. I'm at 152. It's basically I'm flatlining based on what I'm eating. It's not producing all this glucose, raising my blood sugar. Let's go over to Thursday. And sorry if I'm sounding like I'm rushing, but I don't want this video to turn into a 20-minute discussion. Thursday, 173, not too bad. By 5 o'clock almost, I'm at 123. Consumed 34 grams of carbs that day. On Friday, I wrote a question mark here because I guess I must have not lost track, but I didn't know how much carbohydrates were in the food I was eating. Well, there you go. At 10 p.m., small bag of Doritos. There was a situation, and I was stressed out. And like a lot of people, when I'm stressed, I want to eat for comfort. In any event, let's keep going. 5:10 a.m., 141, and that was unexpected. That's why I wrote this. And at 9:45 that day, despite the food for that day, I ended up the day on a 165. And so I went from a 338, okay, to a 165 right here. And that's almost, is that half? Yeah, that's about half in 13 days. So this is, I hope this serves as an example of what you can do. It doesn't matter what part of the world you live in and what your cuisine is like. If you identify the carbohydrates in your food and you cut those out drastically, you can bring down your blood sugars whether you're on medications or not. I've known plenty of people on medications and they suffer from high blood sugars anyway. So nothing's going to change as long as you keep eating the things that are raising your blood sugar. In any event, I hope that this helped you out, and let me know in the comment section or leave a comment over on the Facebook page. Thank you.